The Blue Bloods dancing on the hardwood. The Lakers and the Celtics. Big night, national television. They only play a couple games a year. Were you watching? Did this interest you at all? Perhaps not, because the bigger story leading into the game was about who wasn't playing. We learned hours before that a couple of headliners just couldn't bother to play in the game. They could not be troubled to perform on the court, as both LeBron James and Anthony Davis got hemorrhoids sitting the game out. Both players went to the school nurse and said they just weren't feeling well. So after that happened, the Celtics skyrocketed to a 15.5-point favorite. Very rarely will you see a team favored by that many points in the NBA. It just doesn't happen that often. And even rarer than that will you see that team end up losing the game outright. Hello? That's right, the Boston Celtics, a 15.5, it was up to 16 at some of the books, some of the sports books. The Celtics lost the game outright. Austin effing Reeves had 32 points at the Garden as the Lakers got the victory, and it wasn't even that close. It wasn't even that close. All right, so let us discuss the question: what does that performance say about Jason Tatum and the Celtics, the better story in the losing locker room? So I have Pink Cluckers with a C and Breakfast Aisle, and we'll combine all of these things together, and we'll go up and down like a yo-yo. Number one. This is a pie to the face situation. The Celtics were supposed to be in cruise control. That's why they play the games. They clearly assumed that they could merely show up and collect a victory. And then Hillbilly Kobe had a different idea. And the Celtics melted on the iconic parquet as they went down in flames. Had a terrible second quarter in this game, and they never recovered. They trailed by as many as 16. They never led in the second half. And the backup C squad of the Lakers was able to keep the Celtics at arm's length. It was like a 10-point lead through most of the fourth quarter as Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis, all of them can bow their head in shame. They can also play in the locker room there a classic song from Pink, The Walk of Shame. All right, make the elevator come a little faster, push all the buttons, but nothing's happening. This was a referendum game for Let 'em Play Joe. Let 'em play Joe Mazzulla. Tell me you don't have your team prepared to play without telling me you don't have your team prepared to play. Came out flat. There was little energy, little effort. With even B-level effort, the Celtics win that game. Maybe they don't cover the spread, but they win the game. This is the textbook definition of playing down to your opponent. And for Jason Tatum, it showed a lack of professionalism. You're the superstar. You're the headliner. It's a big deal. A lot of celebrities in Boston out. They wanted to be there because the Lakers were there, and then LeBron didn't show up on the court. But it is demoralizing, despite the great record the Celtics have. That is an embarrassing situation. It's worth pondering what the heck's going on there. Like, are these guys legit or not, the Celtics, with this kind of effort? Now, page 2. Let's address the Komodo dragon in the room. Anthony Davis and LeBron James both missing this game with the Celtics was blank. So my word is poultry, as in LeBron and AD were big cluckers with a C. Bark! Bark! Chicken! So I have a theory on this. After back-to-back road losses to the lowly Hawks and Rockets, the Laker headliners expected to be charbroiled. So rather than get pantsed in an island game, they said, the snooze button out of an abundance of caution. And I'll tell you something else. I'll bet you dollars to donuts, if they had played, if LeBron and AD had played, the Celtics would have given a real effort and the Celtics would have won the game. How about that? that the Celtics would have realized we got to bring some effort here, some energy, some enthusiasm, and we'll put some weight on this game, and they would have won the game. But they didn't. And there continues to be this fog around the Lakers of palace intrigue. The trade deadline is coming up, and are the Lakers going to drop a neutron bomb on the NBA? We know that Darvin Ham, there's issues there. LeBron gave Darvin Ham the death stare, the Medusa look the other night. It's on the internet. There are real internal issues. And I got to tell you, you really hate to see it unless you don't. Unless you don't. All right, final point. Headline from Philadelphia. The 76ers with Joel Embiid, Mr. MVP. Well, you can turn out the lights. The party's over for Mr. MVP. The Joel Embiid campaign ended on a random Thursday night. That's it. That's all she wrote for Joel Embiid and the MVP. Now, the 76ers playing the Utah Jazz, and the Sixers won that game. That's not the story. The story is the announcement that came down prior to the game that Joel Embiid, he will not win the MVP award. He will not win the MVP. He's not eligible. He's not going to play enough games. Why? We are told that the Sixers star, Joel Embiid, has been diagnosed with a torn meniscus in his left knee. Shams Charania, the blood rival of Woj, passes on that there is no timetable for Embiid's return. So I will play a doctor on the radio. I'm not a doctor, but I can play one on the radio. Medicine Man Maller going with 3 months, that Joel Embiid will be out for 3 months. You can do the math. It is the beginning of February now. February is a short month, so February, March, end of April, right around my birthday, end of April, early May, Embiid will be able to come back, which is when the NBA playoffs are going on, assuming there's no other damage done. Can you describe how big a body blow Joel Embiid's injury is to the Sixers? So it is as gigantic as the breakfast aisle at your local grocery store. All of it, Pop-Tarts, pancake mix, the waffle mix, the syrup, all of it. In this case, it's the Rice Krispies on steroids. Snap, crackle, pop goes the NBA star. It sucks. I didn't want to see him get hurt. I love the fact that by playing too many minutes or too many games, that's why he got hurt. He's so soft he can't play the right number of minutes in games. It's ridiculous. But now the 76ers have to use their male nurse, Nick Nurse, and they have to tread water. We assume they'll make a trade at the deadline, try to bring somebody in there to shake it up. But it's next man up, do your job, all that rhetoric. And as long as the Sixers still have a pulse, this should not be a season-ending injury. This should be a 3-month injury, and then Embiid will be able to come back and play. And so if that is correct, if it's only a 3-month injury, there's still a little bit of hope. There's a ray of hope for the 76ers.